My name is Dan and I'm a welder. I did not start out as one. I didn't really figure this would be my career path coming out of high school. What I had initially thought I wanted to do was to become a teacher. So because of that, I went to university, and a little way through university I just made the decision that it wasn't really for me. It wasn't the career that I really wanted. So I had to start figuring what else I wanted to do and why I didn't want to be a teacher. So from there, I ended up choosing getting into welding because I always liked doing things with my hands and making things, and that was really where my interest lied, is helping to build something. I chose welding specifically because I just was always interested in it. I was always really curious about what it was all about and finding out how it works. And I really just wanted to ultimately make metal do what I wanted it to do. And that's what led me into welding initially. And eventually it just kind of kept snowballing. It just kind of kept being something that I wanted to learn more and more about, and just figure out exactly how it all works and why it works and where it needs to work in various aspects of the industry. The average day for a welder is very wide open. There's nothing that you're for sure going to do every day. It changes up, whether you're working on something that's going to just go into a very small kind of niche market one day, or you're doing something that's going to be available to the general public in a kind of larger way. It's always changing. You have to be creative while you're working. Sometimes you'll face a problem that you've never come across before, and you've got to really think on your feet and figure out how to make things work and how to bring it together in a way that not only works at the time, but will work 10, 20, 30 years down the road. The range of salary for welders is quite varied depending on what you're doing, but a typical starting rate would be somewhere in between $40,000 and $80,000 a year. But that's really dependent on where you go in the industry and how much dedication you're willing to put in. You know, when overtime comes around, are you the type of person that sticks around and you keep working, or are you the type of person that would rather be at home relaxing? The high end of things can be up and around the six figures, and perhaps even beyond that, depending on where you go with things and how much you're willing to learn and take on in the industry. And there's really no end to what you can do if you put your mind to it in this industry. In terms of schooling options at the school I'm at, there are 1, 2, and 3 year programs, but regardless of what you choose, it just kind of goes back to what I just said. If you put effort into it, it doesn't matter whether you decide to go to school for a year, or just decide to go into an apprenticeship right away, or you decide to go to school for 3 years. You can really advance yourself if you want to advance, and that's one of the really cool things about it. Some of the progressions that you can go through throughout your career, you may lead yourself into a more inspection-oriented role where you could be performing visual inspection or any other number of non-destructive evaluation techniques. You could also find yourself in underwater welding. In nuclear power plants, there's a lot of welding that goes on there that's can be specialized and very, very particular about how it has to be. There's also a lot of other opportunities in aerospace and automotive and a whole bunch of other industries. The real reason I really like welding is because it's interesting. There's so much to learn, and there's so much that you can do with the skills that you can develop as a welder. It's also really nice because the college programs that are offered are typically a low education debt. There is, of course, going to be a price on it. There's always tuition, but it's not astronomical like going through to be a doctor or something else like that involves a lot of intense schooling. There's also the potential to earn money while you're learning. If you decide to be an apprentice, then you may work for a while and then come back to school for a little bit, and you're kind of offsetting yourself by earning money while you're out there working. Or you may be able to get a good summer job in the field and make a lot of money over the summer prior to coming back to school, if that's what you've chosen to do. And the really nice thing about going this route is that there's no end to the jobs that are available. Whether you're a guy like me who just tried to figure it out at some point after high school, or whether you're coming right out of high school, whether you're a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. There's plenty of space for anybody in this industry. And no matter who you are and where you ultimately want to go, you can be successful. And if you want to be successful, you will be successful.